For almost my entire life, since I was born, I've had two dogs. Growing up with two dogs, some interesting things are bound to happen, which is what this video is about. Growing up with dogs. I'm gonna fast forward through a couple major events and start when my mom and dad were younger and driving down a country road. That's when they saw a sign for Collie Shepherd puppies for sale. My parents already had my dog Lexus at the time and were looking for another dog. It was perfect. Making a split-second decision, they turned and drove up to the farm. That's where they saw a gated area full of adorable puppies. All of them were so excited to have visitors. All except for one, the little blonde puppy who was bolting across the field to hide behind a tractor. Then a farmer came up to greet my parents. "Looking for a dog? They all love you." Well, again, except for the little blonde one hiding behind the tractor. "So which one will it be?" My mom looked around the field. Puppies were whining for her attention. But which one did she pick? "I want that one," she said, pointing to our soon-to-be Hazel. The farmer went to retrieve the puppy. "No, no, no!" And that's how it began. Hazel hated everyone and everything, but she got used to my parents and Lexus. And fast-forwarding through many events, I came into the picture. Now let's just imagine a little toddler holding a new tutu, looking for a dog to try it on. Lexus was a skinny dog and was smart enough to hide under the bed. But Hazel, being the chubby girl she was, couldn't fit, which is why our photos never have Lexus in a tutu, only Hazel. Then, my brother joined the family. He wasn't as cruel to the dogs as I was when I was a toddler. In fact, he didn't really have that much interest in them. Oh, and I have a story that took place around this time. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, eating my Easter chocolates at the table. I was enjoying life, chilling with one of my favorite foods, when Lexus jumped up at me and swiped the chocolate. Then she ran out of the room with Hazel following and hoping she would drop some chocolate for her. Now at the time, I didn't realize chocolate was bad for dogs, so instead of worrying about my dog, I just missed my chocolate, and I was mad at Lexus. But my parents gave me one of my brother's chocolates. He was 3 at the time and didn't really care. And then my parents went to check on Lexus. By the way, she was fine. Now I will be telling you about another food-related story with my dogs. My mom had just made a delicious lasagna for dinner. It was crisp and perfect in every way. I guess Lexus thought so too. And at the time, everyone was off doing their own thing while the lasagna cooled. So Lexus had the kitchen to herself. This story took place when I was like 9, so it was only about 4 years ago. So I'm off, playing on my iPad, when suddenly I hear a huge clank. Let's just rewind this a bit and see it from Lexus's perspective. She smells something delicious. Very delicious. In fact, she knows her family isn't going to give this to her, so she decides to take it for herself. Hazel is behind her, urging Lexus to jump up and take something they can both enjoy. Lexus has always been a jumper, and she knows this will be no challenge. So after making sure no one is around, she leaps up and begins eating the delicious food. It is so good. But Hazel wants some, and Lexus sort of owes her after letting that child put tutus on her so many years ago. So Lexus pushes the dish off the table with her nose, and they begin eating. Let's just leave it as my mom wasn't happy. She really wasn't happy. Okay, now let's jump to a more recent story. Only about 2 or 3 years ago, we came home to find a distressed Hazel stuck under the bed, blocking Lexus's way out. We guess Hazel thought that because Lexus was always under there, it must be something special, so she decided to give it a try. But as I already said, Hazel was a very chubby dog and had trouble fitting into the tight space. But she kept on pushing to get under the bed, which in hindsight probably wasn't the smartest thing she could have done, and it led her to get stuck. We were out at the time, and we were out for a few hours, so we had no idea how long she was under there. But when we came through the door, all we heard was Hazel screeching and Lexus barking and trying to escape. We immediately ran to help Hazel out, and she was stuck in there pretty good. But when she was out, she was fine. Ironically, not too soon after, she got stuck. Again. Hazel just didn't learn her lesson. So moving on from the stories, here's some terrible news. Sadly, a couple years ago, our beloved dog Lexus passed away. We miss her very much. Hazel is still here, and she seems to be doing pretty good, but Lexus will be missed forever. Anyways, those are all the stories I have for you right now. I may have to make a part 2, because there are so many more to tell. But until then, here are some photos of Lexus and Hazel.